Sean,
Yo.
are you familiar with the postcode for Northamptonshire?
I believe it's NN.
You're aware that I'd lived in the county for some time.
I remember.
In fact, I lived in NN...
7.
No.
No, 1.
NN1.
NN1.
Yeah. Do you remember the house opposite the police station?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah, you used to roll out the cell straight back into your bed.
Straight into home. Yep. Really useful. Really useful. And the Gary at the end of the road.
I remember that pub. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. That big sofa that we bought off a prostitute. Do you remember that?
Don't remember that.
You don't?
No.
Well, you'd remember the sofa. I just probably, as you slept on it, probably never told you I'd bought it off a prostitute.
Oh, God. Now I need a shower.
Do you know the postcode for the Daventry district of Northamptonshire County?
No.
It's NN
7.
Correct. Yeah.
And today, Dan.
Have you ever been to Daventry?
Yes, but I can't remember why. I've vague memories of staying in a crap hotel there.
Yeah.
Probably for a gig.
That's like most people that have visited Daventry. Home of the Daventry International Rail Freight Terminal, somewhere people pass through and never stay. However, I have an affinity with it as a boy who grew up near there. I was a Daventry Dolphin.
Is that a thing?
What?
Being a Daventry Dolphin?
Yes, the swimming club, Sean.
Oh.
Anyway, what are we looking at today?
Today, Dan, this is a new company have got in touch called Tree Dsp.
As in, like, it's Tree Man.
No, tree as in grows out of the ground and birds sit in it.
Okay.
Tree Dsp have a plugin called the Nn76.
Ah, there we go. Let's find out, is it? Good. Hopefully the computer will stay on this time.
That's a worry. For the first time ever, my computer just had a kernel panic in the middle of shooting one of these and freaked out.
Kernel panic?
I don't like that.
No.
That normally means it's time for a new computer fairly soon.
Well, I think, it's warm in here.
It is warm in here.
And it's sat in a warm bit of the studio.
It's never normally...
It's you and all your valves.
It could be the valves. It's quite toasty in here. Yeah. We could put the aircon on, but we don't want to annoy people with the background noise.
No, we don't. We don't. So why don't you take us through the controls and the Daventry Nn76?
It's the Tree Dsp Nn76. So basically, as you can tell from looking at it, this is a modelled version of the 1176 from Universal Audio. And it looks very much like one, but in a slightly more graphic-y kind of way. It's not made to look exactly like a real one. It's got that halfway house between that and you know, computer graphics. I quite like it. It's very clear to see what's going on. Very clear meters. We've got obviously the same input and output. There's a link button in the middle, which we have quite a lot on these model versions. Tack and release as you would expect, and just like the real one there, the other way round, so the faster tack is at the other end, and same with the release. We've then got the ratio buttons going from 4:1 to 20:1. Interestingly, there is no all button in mode.
No way.
They are working on it. They're working on it, you know. What can we do?
They must have said that in the email, did they?
They literally said that in the email. They're working on it. We've then got 2 gain reduction meters. We've got the traditional VU one, which can be a +4 or +8. It can be off, or it can show gain reduction. We've also got this extra meter at the top there, which I like. That's a nice little addition.
So they can spend time working on a digital gain reduction meter, however, they can't do a all-in button on an 1176.
Well, I would guess they're trying to do it accurately.
Okay.
And, you know, it's a special thing. It's not actually adding all those ratios together. It's a weird calculation. I'm sure they're on the case. And then finally, we've got the output meter here. We've got some extra things we can click on the gear, brings up some tools and stuff, and you've got a bunch of presets. You can have A and B, and you can match or reset, all standard stuff. And then we have a little mix control in there. You just click and drag on the number, which is nice for your parallel compression.
Well, you say parallel compression,
yes,
but parallel compression is sending
dry signal, and a compressed signal, Therefore, a mix control gives you parallel compression.
Yeah, but you would normally use 2 buses. Hence, that's why it's called parallel, because you're running 2 buses in parallel.
Yeah.
So it's not really parallel compression, is it?
It gives you the effect of parallel compression without going through the grief of setting it up. Dan's not convinced, even though it's the same thing.
No, it's not, because you might want to work, so drum bus.
Yes.
You might want to work on your drum bus and get a really nice, crisp sounding drum bus.
100%.
Using one, channel setting.
Yep.
But then you want a really distorted one to add your crunch and stuff, but you'd want to set that on a separate bus. You wouldn't want to use the same compressor to do both things.
But that's sending it somewhere else. So I have a parallel drum bus, which is exactly that. Completely different bus.
Yeah.
Completely separate settings.
Yeah.
That's parallel compression.
Yeah.
But it's also parallel processing. It's not the same. This is pure parallel compression.
So would you set that to get your proper drum sound?
No, what I would use this for is, for example, let's say I'm compressing a snare using this, and I've got it set to 100, so all of it is being compressed. And when I dial it back a bit, because I don't like that level of compression, it loses something. So I'm like, I'll just send a bit of drive through. I'll dial it down to 80%. All of a sudden fixed.
Okay.
Dan's not having it. Anyway, let's get on to something else. This was developed using machine learning and neural networks.
We know all about that.
We know a bit about that
from our other show.
Yes, we have been discussing that very recently.
Okay, well that's interesting, and I would be interested to know how they are programming their neural networks and how the machine learning is applied, because that's something I know a little bit about.
I would like to know that too, but I don't know anything about it. So I can't help you there. However, what I can tell you is that I tested this, and you will see the full test later in the show. I also ran it through Plugin Doctor, and basically to check what I was hearing, because when I was testing it, sounds really analog.
Does it?
Yeah. Regardless of how it looks, it sounds very, very much like an old 76. And I put it through Plugin Doctor to check, and sure enough, it's throwing out some full-on harmonics, much like the real one, but much less like a brand new real one, more like one that you find in a rack, in a studio like rack that's been sat there for 40 years. Yeah, it sounds like that. So I very much enjoyed messing with it.
I'm going to look into that. I'm going to do a bit of research, because that's intrigued my intrigue.
Good.
It's excited my...
I don't want to know what it's excited. Anyway, moving on. Demo-wise, 14 days.
Excellent.
Price. Full price.
I've already read it. You may as well just tell me.
$59.
Yep.
Which, bargain.
Yeah.
That's a bargain. If you haven't got a decent 1176, go and check this one out. The sale price right now is $29.
That's a bargain.
Yeah.
That is a bargain. Especially if it's as, and we're going to ask the question, but if you say that it's as good and as analog as you say it is, then...
I think it's a very good start for a company that is just cracking on with this stuff. You couldn't end up in a better place for your first plugin.
Fucking brilliant. That's good to hear. So, Sean, is the
Nn76 from Tree DSP, is it shit?
Yeah.
No. Decent price, sounds good, looks good. What's not to like?
Boom! Shakalak!
There you go.
Yeah, I may well go and get the demo of this one. It's not going to say that.
Nice.
Good stuff. Please hang around till the end of the show to watch the audio demonstration. Before that, please subscribe to the channel or become a channel member.
Yeah, like the video, all of that stuff. We have got an Instagram, Studio Life 101. There is the website, which has got the top 5 plugins on there. We've got some courses and a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's all sort of down there somewhere.
So until next time, sayonara, suckers.
Adios.